Last Sunday, two vultures guarded the beach trail like ushers at a Sabbath service, or rather, gates to the Garden of Eden, deciding who was worthy to enter paradise, or rather the town cathedral. They let one girl pass, anointing her with holy water, but when I biked by, I heard one whisper to the other, "This one is made of dead things." And they descended, and the way that they were facing something beneath them in virtue, even as they rose from the ground, as if demons, to devour me. I ran, or rather biked, with the determined knowledge of someone who has done nothing but run, or rather bike, away from life and towards goals, and away from a life centered around goals, and towards a life spent living instead of the goal for having a life worth living, and away from death. But as the vultures closed in, it became clear that the path I took lacked a beginning or end, or even a discernible journey, and looked more like a vulture flying, or rather biking, in endless circles around its own corpse, or rather my body. Not that my remains were models of some linear form of progress, but rather I found myself fighting for an amorphous idea of life that was very much dead. And with this, I stopped running, or rather biking, or rather flying, in circles around my corpse, and opened my eyes, the dead ones, though it felt very much like peeling back a mask, or rather, the corner of a book. I looked out, not in the way a soul does, but how a biblically accurate angel might. I did not have a periphery, and I could see everything except for myself, or rather, I became the earth in my own geocentric reality, or rather, miscalculation. And in this precise moment, or rather when the vultures swooped up, or rather down on me, I was brought back to life, or rather born, for though to describe my time before the vultures as biotic would be medically accurate, it would not be true. I birthed myself. Not in the way of a great spiritual awakening, but how water, or rather a single droplet, or rather tear, falls to the earth in a cycle in which I am not the center. I emerge from my watery chrysalis, a vulture, or rather two. I watch the dead things running, or rather flying, or rather biking, on beach trails.
108,000. It was honestly a good day. My eyes beamed open brightly. My outfit obediently seemed to agree with the rest of me. My hair looked luminous and luscious, makeup done like a mosaic. School was sufficient. Wrists writhing away from writing, minds mixing many thoughts, my normal routine again and again. I arrived home with no paper or pen in mind, snack-filled smiled, a screen in front of me. Then I gaining some digital glory. 108,000. That was a great day. Now, phone in hand without a plan, I hear my sister arrive. Dear Lord, I hope she just goes to bed, no messing with anyone's head. But no, she just began. It started as crying, wailing to the sky, slightly unusual, but I just set it aside. And of course, a sliver of me felt poorly, but I kept it deeply traveled inside. And when she tumbles and grumbles down the stairs, her vision with tears is impaired. By this point, she begins to strengthen her voice, and even the wailing turning to a blare. Her boyfriend, who's on the phone, is talking, but she can't understand. Her voice became different, a word when it landed. I had turned confused and concerned as I listened in the room just next door. I approached my mother, but she was already talking to the law of the land. In what felt like hours, a dozen more bodies in my home. My sister wasn't downstairs alone. My mother spills her background, the main medicines, and past misuses. I feel like I'm being watched with a drone. A great day has washed away. I breathe as the police leave my house. It's not the first or probably the last with a sister like mine. 108,000. 108,000 people died from drug overdoses in 2022. My sister could have become a number calculated by statistics and logistics minuscule. Reflecting and dissecting that realization wasn't an easy task. It feels like all I'm ever doing is asking whether or not she'll be okay. She'll leave that mask behind and look me in the face and close this case. And there's times I want her away from me because of who we are and past history. But luckily now, I still have that choice to let her.
I hate you. You're so selfish, taking streams from my eyes and sheep from my night skies. No longer will I carry your grief just because it really needs a piggyback ride, because I need sleep. I need peace. I'm returning my empathy for apathy because it's half the cost. Dear poem, I did not want to write. Would you stop sneaking out of bed at night, slipping through the crack in my eyelid till I'm wide awake to the cries of your joy? Look, the Christmas tree is covered with light bulbs. How about Santa keeps all inspiration at the North Pole till I want it, because I do not want to write you. What are you even doing with my needle-prodded, gym towel-blotted, gutter-drained blood, sweat, and tears anyway? Sending them to the lab and diagnosing me insomniac, depressed? I regret to inform you I can't afford the water bill. All the things so much deeper than me, drowning yours truly in the bathtub. Sincerely, no longer yours, Kate. Dear Kate, you don't hate me. You hate me like a parent hates a crying baby, which is to say not at all. They just long for quiet. I'm realizing how much labor it has taken you to bring me into a cruel world with heartbeat too. Thank you for my heartbeat. Thank you for the doodle tattoos on my margins, marred skin, the dotted punctuation on my face. I always wanted freckles. I always wanted you to see me underneath the light-bulb-lit Christmas tree and exclaim, I got inspiration from the North Pole. And you would never complain about me pulling you out of bed like a little kid impatient to open its gifts, the folds of your smile, the warmth of your pride, instead of cotton stockings. I'm sorry about the blood, sweat, and tears. I really am. We did send them to a lab. It's official. I broke your heart. I drowned it in the bathtub with my depth, sliced blood vessels with paper cuts. It's just, you already have immunity to lead poisoning and empathy. Oh, the ad saying ignorance is bliss, but the return of empathy is never free, and I'd give you apathy, but it's all sold out. There's nothing more popular right now, so please keep your empathy and your pen. I know grief's a little too old to be getting piggyback rides, but it still needs to be carried, and so do I. So do I. Would you still be mine truly, mine truthfully? Because I love you. I love you. Like the paper loves the tree, like the baby loves the womb, like the butterfly loves the cocoon, like anything that's been carried loves the